All right, everybody, welcome back to the Meet the Bus podcast. This is episode 7, and I am your host, Jeffrey Reckes. And for today, we have a very unique situation. This is the first episode where we'll have 3 people on the pod. Never happened before. It's the very first time. Now, I'm going to introduce my first guest. It's going to be very simple. He's already been on the bus. He's been on the bus. He stayed on the bus. I'm bringing him over. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back on Riley Fitzpatrick.
What's up, guys? I ditched the vape from last episode, so you won't be seeing any of that today.
Stop vaping for the fans.
Stop it's vaping for the just fans. For the fans. Just for the fans. For the fans. Not my mental health at all. Nothing like that. Just for the fans.
And my new guest, my guy I'm bringing on, friend we're bringing on to the bus now. He marched with me and Riley at Oregon Crusaders in 2016 and 2018. And then me and him marched together without our dog in 2017. But he's Tuba God all over the land. We're going to talk about all the gigs he does because he's playing everywhere. He was dad for real on every summer tour. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on Josh Sanchez. Welcome on. Welcome on to the podcast, brother. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty fucking great, man. It's been a long week. It's about to be a longer weekend.
Very long week. Very long week.
The weekend's gonna be even longer, but you know it is what it is at this point in my life. So
you're teaching this weekend, right?
This weekend I'm teaching and gigging. I do everything all the time.
Hell yeah, dude. Where do you teach? Tell the people.
I currently teach visual and the tubas at Cypress High School.
Okay.
And I also teach the tuba line at Ayala High School, band and color guard. And I also teach the tubas during the summer at Arroyo High School.
Dude, triple threat.
I also teach private lessons at a music and arts store. And I also teach private lessons for a nonprofit organization.
And that's just teaching. Like that's only in teaching, by the way, guys. That's just he just went off for only teaching. Now tell the people what you do performing wise. Let the people know.
Gigging wise, I do the standard holiday quintets whenever they pop up. Sometimes I get calls, sometimes I don't. Right now, my main money earner is these banda gigs. I play sousaphone on with their little Mexican folk band called Banda Fantasma. I've been playing with them for a year now. I started with them on a valve trombone.
Oh my god!
The valve trombone's kind of a odd beast.
It's a rarity to see. I feel like
they just don't use it in the U.S. That's all.
Okay.
So I played that with them for a hot minute. Started learning the songs and the style of music. After about a year, they asked me to play sousaphone for them, and I was thrilled to do that because that's my main instrument. Now I get to make money on my main instrument. Living the dream.
Dude, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, quick question, I guess, to start us off. We ask everybody this question when they come on, but I guess I got to ask now, what was the first instrument you picked up? Was it tuba or was it trombone? Dumb question from the boy here, but I got to know.
The very, very first instrument I picked up?
Yeah.
So, the very, very first instrument I picked up was
Please say saxophone. Please say saxophone.
It was like this mini accordion that my dad brought me from Mexico, and I was like a child.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Damn. That's kind of what ignited the I want to make sounds thing in my life. So
from there, how did you find a brass instrument? How do we go from there?
In my elementary school, when you're in 4th and 5th grade, the middle school bands do a tour of all the middle schools. They play for all the 4th graders and 5th graders, to let them know, hey, what's up? We're band. We exist in middle school. You can do this. These are all the instruments. Here's some cool songs.
Yeah.
So they did that. And when I was in 4th grade, they started that little concert by playing the OG Spider-Man theme song. So just imagine a bunch of little kids walking to this theater, and all you hear is boom, 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 boom. They had 8 tubas or something. They were just all these big bells in the back, and you just see them moving as they're playing, and it's like, oh my god, what is going on here? I want one of those things in the back. And that's immediately where my life just started going hey, I want to do that.
Yes.
I don't know what's called yet, but I want that. I was just absolutely mesmerized by the whole concept of band. They were playing some really cool songs, and I just thought it was insane that there were these people making sounds out of these weirdly shaped things.
These huge, big bells in the back, waving everything. You're
I was a small child. I was like, oh my god, how are they doing that? that's kind of what started it.
Yeah. So from there, how do you get into like the marching world? What inspires you to do that?
In middle school, when I started playing trombone, we did like one parade. There's not really marching band in middle school out here in California. So you just do like one or two parades in middle school if you're lucky. So we just did one.
It's crazy y'all even like, not to cut you off or anything, but it's crazy that y'all even like march in middle school. Like that's such like I've talked to a couple people now who've been on the episode or on the podcast, I should say. They live in areas where they start in middle school for marching. And I just think like that's so like foreign to me. So to hear that, it's just like, oh my God. Like that's
some of my high schools I teach have middle schoolers in them. So like it's weird. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Do they have to audition to get in, or is it still like a sign up to get in?
I'm pretty sure you just have to audition, and if you're good enough to let you in.
That's pretty sick. Nah, dude, my marching experience in middle school was like walking through the hallways, and then we would just like do something for like the holidays. So that's really cool. We like disrupt class like in the middle of the day just to like play like Feliz Navidad or something like that, and just cause a ruckus in the hallway. But that's really cool, like that you have middle schoolers like at the high school level. That's awesome.
It's insane.
Are they like killing it though, or like
the ones that are in? Yeah, dude, they're killing it.
I was gonna say because like you see so many like you see so many little shits. I remember when I taught too that just like don't want to be there in high school band. So it's like it's so cool to hear that middle schoolers are like wanting to like in middle school I want to go do the marching band right now. So like if I were to guess, they're probably like the most engaged people there if anything, because like being that young one to do it.
Yeah,
you know, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I guess from there, I had a question just about like how different band is in California compared to the rest of the world. But I guess since we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, what's the recruiting like for drum corps in California?
Well, dog, you gotta remember, I didn't march drum corps in California.
Well, I mean that's also real, but I like I mean there's a couple groups out there. So is there any like recruiting for that at all? Like I know
absolutely. We have some big groups out here. We have Pacific Crest, we have Gold, we got BD, we got Vessel. Yeah. We got Impulse and all the other groups. Some of them push for recruiting a little bit more than others. And they do that by offering master classes / audition camps at like schools where these teachers teach at. They'll do that. Then they'll bring that teacher onto the staff for the summer. And then like, it'll be their way of like plugging the school into the corps and vice versa.
100%. Absolutely.
That's usually what goes on out here.
I remember you telling some story in like 2016.
Yeah, the burnt toast story, dude.
Oh,
well, I guess if you want to tell that one.
Oh, sorry. Did I jump the gun there? I thought that's where we were going.
You know what? No, but now, honestly, yeah, I kind of I don't think I remember the burnt toast story. So, yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell it?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I guess it is technically a drum corps story, so I guess we should talk about it.
Yeah.
So, while I didn't march drum corps in California, I had initially started the process of wanting to march drum corps by auditioning for Pacific Crest out here in California in 2014.
So Riley didn't jump the gun on this one.
I knew it.
You're right on. You're right on.
So I auditioned in 2014. I made it. Was not able to march because finances, you know how it is.
Yes.
Came back in 15, auditioned again, made it, and was there for a hot minute. It was the last camp, whatever the last camp was for them before tour started. That was the last day I was there. That was the day it happened. There's so much I don't remember about everything leading up to that.
Yeah.
But I vaguely remember it was like the day 2 of this 3-day camp.
Is this 2014 or 2015?
2015.
Okay. Cool.
It was the morning block. It had to have been the morning. We were doing a lot of PT and stuff, and I just didn't feel right. Don't really know how to describe what I felt, but I just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I told the staff that was just like, hey, I'm not feeling well. Like, what do? They're like, just go sit on the sideline and drink some water. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. I can do that. I did that for like 5 minutes, a little bit longer. And then I was just like, I still don't feel good. Who do I go to? I went back to the staff member. I was like, hey, yo, I do not feel good still. And they were like, oh, go find the med staff. They're probably.
Is there even a med staff at the camp?
There was supposed to be.
Oh,
no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay.
So that leads to the next bit of the story where I start walking towards the food truck and I'm like, I'm feeling pretty fuzzy at this point. Like, I don't know. I just felt lightheaded. I was like, all right, I'm kind of just like, just, floating through the place. I go to the food truck and I see the staff, the volunteers there doing their thing. And I was like, hey there, is the med staff anywhere nearby? Someone was like, oh, they're not here today. And I was like, oh, okay. Uh-oh. Thank you. And they were like, oh, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't feel good at all. I'm actually kind of starting to lose feeling in my legs. I started going down. I started going down. And I just hear off in the distance and see this big figure running. They had this athletic trainer there. This is Patrick Ryan, I think. He was also an alum of Pacific Crest. This huge ass like football dude. He played contra for them, but he was an athletic trainer for them, and he also did some athletic training at some big football school here in California. He was a cool dude, but I just remember hearing and seeing him running from the field, basically screaming, "He's having a stroke!" And I'm like, "Oh, what?"
Oh God!
And like, as soon as
you're like, "Am I? Am I?"
And I'm just going down, and I'm like, by the time I'm on the ground, he's like here, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like my face is already like getting like halfway.
Oh no!
And I'm like
on the ground, like, "Are we okay?"
And like I'm trying to talk, and I can't talk. He's asking me things, and I'm trying to answer them. I can't answer them. I'm just like,
It's fucked up that you're laughing, Jeff. This man had a stroke.
I'm laughing.
I know.
Yeah, once they had deduced that something was happening to me, they called paramedics and all that happened. Yeah. The paramedics were there, and I was taken away to the hospital.
I think what's funny is just like Josh, this is all happening to him, and there's a guy describing every single second of this happening. Like the guy's like, he's falling down, he's having a stroke. Josh is like, fucking, I know. Like I literally told everybody, and everybody told me to find med staff, and now I'm falling over. And the guy's like, are you okay? And you're like, I just told like 5 people I'm gonna die. Like,
yeah, dude. So now we're in the hospital. I'm legit having a stroke. My parents are there. It's all fucking, It's all madness. From there, the doctor that was seeing me was like, hey, so there's this medicine that we can give you for the blood clots in your brain. It's either going to work and you'll be fine. It's either going to do nothing at all, or you'll have some intense side effects of internal bleeding. And I was just like,
I'm sorry. Dude, fuck you, Riley. Okay, so we're all going to hell. We're all fucked up.
We're all going to hell.
We're all going to hell.
It's funny now.
You're alive, right? That's what matters.
Yeah, like obviously, spoiler, it worked. I'm alive.
Let's fucking go.
But yeah, like, originally my parents were like, oh God, no, if there's a chance of anything bad for him to happen, no. Anything bad, don't give it to him. And then my dad was just like, excuse me, what? So then eventually the doctor talked some sense into my parents and mom. Then they gave me the medicine, and here we are.
So had that happening in 2015, is that kind of what takes you out for that summer of 2015?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, obviously. I just have to like double check. Like, it was just like, okay, this is going to be okay. Yeah.
This isn't a walk it off situation.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like, oh yeah, like you get like a couple weeks in the bed, you'll be back out there. No problem.
Like the doctors kept me in the hospital for a week trying to figure out what the fuck caused this.
Oh my God.
The worst thing is that to this day I still have no answer. They kept me there for a week, and there was no like. They were like, "Dog, we don't have a real."
Like, they didn't say like, okay, what caused this at least?
No, they were just like they really couldn't determine what triggered it. Like,
damn,
they couldn't determine if it was heat induced or if it was just like stress or if it was like they don't know. They couldn't narrow that down for me. And
have you had any problems with it since?
I mean, I did develop a stutter after that. I also did lose my reflexes, like when they do the hammer thing on your knees.
Yeah,
I don't work on just
nothing.
I remember trying that in 2018. I remember you told us about that when you were sitting in the bus, and you're like, "Try it," and I was like,
"You're like bullshit.
Dude, why?" I'm like, "Bullshit. You're lying. Like, there's no way."
You remember?
I fucking karate chopped the shit out of his knee, and he just nothing. I was like,
"Damn,
does it work with the other one?" He's like, "Yeah, do it."
But
Go ahead and break it, I dare you.
Those are kind of just like lingering effects that I've had since that happened. I've been pretty good about keeping my stutter in check. I just kind of have to self-medicate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's tough anyway. I mean, that's 2 summers in a row where something that's kind of like out of your control takes you away from the activity. What brings you back to then go back out in 2016 and be like, I got to go do this thing. I got to go after this thing. What keeps you coming back?
When that happened, right after, I had a friend that I had marched indoor wins with in 2015 before the stroke.
That was OCI, right?
Yeah, OCI wins. Orange County.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming back.
They're coming back as a percussion group.
Yes,
still hype. Still hype. You know, family's family.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I marched their wins group in 2015 and 2016.
Yeah.
And a friend that I did 2015 with hit me up. I was like, hey, bummer you can't march. I'm so sorry. Are you feeling any better? Also, do you want to teach band? And I was like, yes, I'm down to teach band. And by this time, I had 1 high school field show, 2 college field shows, and a WGI win show under my belt. And this friend asked me to teach band, and I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking down, you know.
Sure, let's do it.
It was actually seeing how nerdy these kids were at the school about drum corps. It was seeing them be like that made me be like, okay, I gotta try again.
The fire's there again.
Despite life telling me to not do it, and despite my doctors telling me to lay off of intense physical activity for a year, I was like, I got it. I got it.
You just see the sparkle in their eye about it, and just like the pure excitement when they just see anything about it. Or I feel like for me, like I taught a school in 2021. I've talked about this before. Shout out Siegel High School, but like there's the Murfreesboro show every summer, and like all the Tennessee kids go to that show, and it's just like they look forward to that day. So seeing that, like everyone who does drum corps eventually, like they get to this point where like, oh, bandos, like fucking little bando high schools, and then you see like how excited they are. It just reminds you of like, you know, what it did for you in the first place. You know, I think that's awesome.
Dude.
Just the same thing for me.
Seeing the kids be like that, you know, they had this day where they like live streamed one of the shows, and like they were all about it. You know, they were hyping up all the groups and shit. And I was like, all right, yeah, I gotta do the thing. I just have to.
So how do we land on Oregon Crusaders 2016?
So I had originally auditioned for Madison Scouts 2016. Madison Scouts was originally my dream corps. I did a video audition. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
And they recommended me a few corps to try out, and they told me about the staffs on these corps. When they mentioned Oregon Crusaders, I noticed the name Alex Blue because he was going to be an incoming staff member for OCI Wins 2016.
That's right. I remember that. I remember hearing
So
that.
I was just like, he's doing Oregon Crusaders as a caption, and he's going to be working with us at OCI Wins. Maybe I should get acquainted with this dude before the summer.
Would be huge.
You know, decided to take Madison Scout's advice and audition for OC. It was fucking phenomenal.
Moving on from there. So how old were you? Sorry, Riley.
Oh, I was just gonna ask him the same thing. How old was he when I was literally like, I'm following like along here. So,
Take it, dude.
How old were you when you did end up going and auditioning?
So I did this.
You old man.
I'm getting there. I am starting to forget things from summers. I'm not gonna lie. But I went to this satellite camp that was in LA that Blue was at.
Yeah.
Josh Dawes was there too.
Nice.
Oh dear Lord.
Josh Dawes.
Did you end up going with like Luke Pistachi or any guys like that? Like, because they're from around the area. He did
OCI Wins with me, so like.
Yeah, you guys did. I just remember the Shooting Warhol show. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, that's the one we did together.
Oh yeah, okay. Word. Now I'm caught up. Continue.
But yeah, so Luke was also at that satellite camp, and you know, Blue and I were fresh off the WGI Win season, so we were like, "Yeah, what's up, man? Am I doing summer for you?" And you were just like, "On tuba? Hell yeah!" I did my audition for him, and you know, it was swell.
He's like, "You're cool. I know you, dude. It's chill."
I was a super loud euphonium player, so I'm sure he was thrilled to discover I was actually a tuba player. I was like, "Oh yeah, that makes more sense."
What was the experience like? Because obviously we know what Blue's like during the summer, but like, what was that experience like during the winter? Like, what was something you picked up from him?
You know, I thought he was pretty similar in both winter and summer. Learning from him in winter, he had more material to be more musical with. Like, you know, the music that we were playing in indoor wins, it was more musical. It was just more musical literature. And
100%.
Blue
It
was
was just like
able,
the vibes of him that it was just like, this guy's cool. Like
he was able to get
keep
super
following this
nitpicky
guy.
about things.
Yeah.
I liked
Very
how
detailed.
nitpicky he was about things. And like, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I definitely want to learn from this guy in the summer. He's super nitpicky. He knows about good sounds. I like his vibe. You know, his vibe was just like the thing.
I love his vibe. Love the teaching style. It's just, it always felt like I've said this about a lot of people, but truly with him, it just always felt like he was just like one solid line. It never was like, he was never too high, never too low, just right here, just like super in the zone. In the zone all the time.
Absolutely. It was the right zone. It was always the right zone. Yeah.
Always the right time. So leaving for the first time, like, even though you're older, a lot of people I've talked to on this podcast so far,
they were younger when they started. Yeah.
We've been some youngins. So there's a perspective to that, leaving so young. But I guess for you, this will be cool because you were older. So what was it like for you leaving home and going away for the summer for the first time like that?
I mean, I had already gone away for like, for Dayton, but that's only a week long. So whatever. But so, it was definitely awesome to leave for like an extended period of time. I was like, oh my God, get me out of this freaking house. Get me out of SoCal. I freaking hate it here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to march a group from California. So I was just thrilled to be leaving the goddamn state.
So we talked about this in Riley's episode. We talked about like what was like your welcome to drum corps moment when you kind of like were like, oh, this is like drum corps. This is what all the kids are getting hyped. Like, this is what it is. Riley talked about it. You talked about, Riley, you were like, literally my welcome to drum corps is like getting dropped off and running right into a rehearsal.
Yep. Like, it wasn't even like set your bags down, get situated. It was, you better get to block because we started 15 minutes ago. Like,
damn, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I've been thinking about that one for a while. Remember the first time it rained during the 16 season?
Like the one where like the hail?
No, just rain. Like normal ass rain.
Yeah, no, I know. Yes, yeah, 100%.
We just kept going, right? Because it was just rain, whatever. We just kept.
We always just kept going.
There was
never a time we stopped. It was like, we could keep going.
Yeah, and that's when I was just like, oh, this isn't just fucking school band.
Yeah, where they're like, okay,
like,
bye.
Shade up, everyone, shade up. There's like, it's just rain. It's just rain. Come on, let's go, motherfuckers.
I know they're brand new instruments, but I don't give a shit. We got drill to set. We gotta move.
That was like my first welcome. I was like, oh, so we're not gonna be shaded up here, right? Yeah, that's not the goal here. Got it.
By the way, people, Josh, as we talked about in the beginning, Josh is a very busy man. He teaches all over the place. He plays all over the place. Man's busy. He's actually got a gig coming up and he's got to leave for like within the hour. So like this is an interesting, like this is gonna be an interesting one because like unlike every single episode we've done so far where like we can just be like, yeah, we'll record for like 3 hours, 3.5, cut it down to 2 and call it a day. Like we're on a time crunch here, people. We got shit to talk about. So I'm trying to shit to talk about, and I want to talk about the important things. I want to talk about some good stuff. So something I want to hit on, because this person was, especially when I walked in, wasn't in my section, but I definitely looked up to him as like this big leadership figure within Oregon when I first got there. What is something you learned? I'm pretty sure his first name was Alex, but what did you learn from Baku in 2016?
Alex Baku.
Hell yeah.
I love that man so much.
Shout out Alex.
I am so sad that we didn't get to spend as much time together as I wish we would have. He's the one who really instilled in me like how to just like tough it out and just remain like
in the zone, do your job.
Like, just be a pillar,
yes.
No one's gonna fucking take you down. Like always remain in the zone, do the fucking work. That's what I got from him, He really helped me like get into like, hey, we're in the zone. This is what we're doing,
I respected the hell out of his work ethic. For me, it was such like I want to take that leadership style as I keep going through this activity and I keep building up and I keep working on my craft, getting more comfortable with what I'm doing. I like just saw how hard he worked and how like hard he pushed everybody else just with how hard he was working. And I was that kind of leadership shit right there. Like pushing yourself, like making the other people around you better because of the way you push yourself. That's something I took away just even in that 1 year.
It was him and Caleb Pfeiffer that really like, instilled things in me and like made me into like the guy that I was in 2018.
Yeah. I didn't
talk to Caleb.
Did you get to talk to Caleb a lot? Because I don't know what it was. We just never did.
I got to
I
talk
did.
to him like a handful of times. We
Dude,
never
I
really had
worked on-
conversations, but
Yeah.
We all just talked.
No, wait, Caleb Pfeiffer. Everybody has a story about.
Wait. Riley, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Caleb Pfeiffer. Actually, I have a really cool story that I didn't tell in my episode, and it's not as cool in the moment, but I totally respect the hell out of him for it. It was Allentown. I remember it was raining like hell. Everybody had to take shelter in the truck. We were unloading everything, changing, trying to do everything done, and we were waiting for the rain to pass so that we could go to our warm up. And I was pissed off. Like I was just so pissed.
yeah, you were.
Like for whatever
Riley was
reason,
pissed in
I was
2016.
like in 2016. I was just like, if you had to like pinpoint me throughout the season, I would have been the most pissed off guy on the field.
Pissed.
But that being said, we were like unloading or whatever, and like I think the night before or something like that, I like basically loaded the truck by myself because they were all off seeing their friends, and like I didn't need to do that. Like I could have asked for help and I chose to do it myself. Anyway, he put me in timeout. He actually looked at me and he said, dude, you need to like step aside for a couple minutes, like after the rain had passed. And he's like, you need to step out and like go sit over by that rock for like 5 minutes and just take a couple deep breaths.
Whoa.
And I was like, damn, like
I wouldn't know what to do
right.
with myself. I'm not gonna lie. That would definitely just like in the moment, like, all right, we'll wake up.
Yeah, and like at that point, like I was like, this dude is so respectable. And like Caleb Pfeiffer was definitely Baku and Caleb. They both had the craziest work ethic. And I think that we talked a lot about culture in my episode. I think that they really pushed what was the lasting culture for Oregon Crusaders. But anyway, that's my story.
Yeah, no, I just realized there at the end, I have so much fucking armpit sweat
that's
right now, bro. It's fucking, I was like, I thought I did, but I shouldn't have worn a dark color or a light shirt. I look like a
Brutal.
fucking idiot now. This is some real band nerd shit. All the band nerds are gonna be like, I get that every day at school.
And this is the real that'll make like fucking 30,000 views right here. Like anyway, just had a very cool story or like a bunch of cool stories back to back.
Yeah, I
was like,
gotta
check out my
fucking
pit
post
sweat.
I'm fucking sweating my ass off here, guys. Can I ask one more question just about 16? We'll go to 17.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did the Noro get you, bro?
Yeah,
Because yeah, dude, talk about it. Talk about your story. We've all talked about our stories. Talk about
I was out during Kansas.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. Like how everyone's got like a little story about how they got it though. How'd you get it? Like what was your what was your and then you were like, oh fuck, I have this.
It was when we were in the barracks.
Oh, I remember that. Whoa, that's a deep cut, dude.
Yeah, that is a deep. Oh,
We were sleeping.
I have not thought about that since 2016.
we were fucking sleeping, and then next thing you know, I was just vomiting. And I just ran out of the bed and just ran into the bathroom. Was like, and I just stayed there because like I was like I already threw up all over the fucking bed and floor. I'm just gonna stay here in the bathroom, and that's what happened.
I got one more question about 2016 after you're done. Those barracks were honestly nice because they were terrible, but they were nice because they were the first beds we got to fucking sleep in.
Yeah,
that's real. Okay, that's real.
Okay, Jeff brings us up to every OC person he's had on. What was your take on the Mall of America, and did the Tubas vote yes or no?
The Tuba's perspective on that because we've talked so much about the trumpet meeting.
The trumpets all had their own. Trumpets had their own thing. What did the Tubas say?
Well, I mean, it was as described. You know, the section leader Baku approached us and was like, "Hey guys, staff would like to know if you want to rehearse on this free day that we had scheduled, or if you would like to continue with the scheduled free day. We're not gonna get punished." I wish I could emulate how he told us because I feel like the way he told us
was a
gave
trap.
it away.
Yeah, it was like, don't vote that you want to go to the free day, please.
And like, you know, a grand majority of the Tubas were rookies. We all wanted the fucking free day.
Yeah. Like everybody did, bro, because it was like we only had like what, one or maybe two laundry days, and then it was like it was gonna be the first full like day off of just not doing homework. I love it, but god damn, like day after day, you need a break. You need a break of anything. If you do anything for like 12 hours a day for 85 days in a row, you need a break somewhere in there. It needs to happen. It's not that we don't love it.
Yeah,
it's just you need a break from anything. If you do anything like that, you need your breaks.
Like, I definitely understand. Like, I at the time I was like, okay, yeah, the show is not in the greatest shape for a regional, and I definitely understand why they're pitching this. But also, this was planned before we even set foot into.
They told us this was happening, and then it was literally like the day before too. Like it was the day before it was happening, and we were so hyped because we're like, dude, like Weber State, what a cool show. And then afterwards, they're like, hey, that free day tomorrow. How about no? We're just like, what? Why did you come back in 17? Was there anywhere else, or was it just like I'm coming back with the boys?
I just wanted to go back with the boys.
Hell yeah, you gotta respect it. Gotta respect it.
Yeah, dude. I didn't consider going anywhere else. Like immediately after 16, I was like, I am locked in. I am coming back. I'm doing it again.
That's awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. I even got more hyped when I found out Tim was staff because
let's go.
Because Tim was staff on the Madison Scouts show with like 20 Tubas, and I was like,
that's gonna be nuts.
So I was like, bro, we're gonna have that guy here. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And then when I found out that Turner was gonna teach and he marched that show too, I was like, oh, bro, the Tuba's gonna be like phenomenal this year. Let's go.
A question that I've asked like people who've done like multiple years: did the 2-year vet syndrome ever hit you? Like, did you ever get that where you're like, oh yeah, I've been here 2 years, I know everybody now, I know what I'm doing?
I personally don't think it did.
Yeah.
But I brought a friend to a camp in 2017. I don't really remember the exact words I received from them, but I do remember us having a conversation about the people, the vets returning, and the kind of vibe, the cliquey vibe that we had. I didn't think about it too much at the time, but now I'm like, did I have 2-year vet syndrome?
Honestly, if I can be real, I think it might just be a trumpet thing. I don't think any other section has people we're the only section that has a group of ego people in it who are all where we come from, we're the best fucking player in our high school band, or we're the best player in our band. We come here now, and it's I feel like it only happens in trumpet land. Everyone else is like, yeah, dude, we're coming back. It's gonna be great. Super fun here last year, whatever. It'd be it's only trumpets who walk in and be like, I know the trumpet tech from last year. It's shut up, you only did 1 year, get out. Let's get to the good stuff, dude. Do you have any memories from 2017? I've mentioned this a million times.
Not any good ones.
Not any good ones. Just short and sweet, not any good ones.
So if I could ask a part 2 to that question, are there any memories that don't involve running for you?
I mean, not directly, but eventually running was involved in this story, so I don't think so.
At first it really didn't, but then it just turned just always turns into running. Any story I have from 2017 involved running. Do you remember when we went to Camp Howard? Do you remember when we went to Camp Howard for the first time, and dude, Paddington the bear showed up before the afternoon block? So in 2017,
remember the nuns on ATVs with fucking rifles?
What the hell? Because that was before. So it was before, because it was during lunch, and we were all eating in the little cafeteria way up top of the hill. People start coming in being like, yo, there's a bear right next to the brass field, the main ensemble field. There's a bear trying to come up. They spotted a bear. He's trying to come up the hill, and these nuns come on ATVs, with hunting rifles, being like, "We're gonna take care of this. This happens all the time." We're like, "Dude, we have brass block in 25 minutes."
Mister, please.
A bear is gonna attack us in brass block, and we're like, "Are we still gonna start on time?" And I might be wrong on this, but didn't Tim go over to see the bear? Yes. Or didn't he I'm pretty sure, because that was the story. He's like, yeah, I went over, I saw the thing. I watched them shoot it.
Tim is part bear, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had an interaction.
They had a little conversation. Oh, another one from just random memories that I got. I watched a couple 17 videos last night, and this one just randomly popped in. Do you remember when we ran the opener for 17 at Western Mennonite? We ran it 5 times in a row in an afternoon brass block one time. It was at the end of a brass block, and Tim was like, all right, we need to We need to get some endurance under you guys. You know what I'm saying? This is how it's going to be if you want to like survive a 12-minute show. We're going to do the opener back to back to back to back. Like, and it was literally like we ran the opener the first time. He's like, you got 30 seconds, go get water, and then set it up again. And we did it again. He was like, cool, go get water, 30 seconds, set it up and do it again. Like opener. Like at the
I was legit crying by rep 4.
Yep. No, like no one had anything at the end of it. He knew that, but it was all just like endurance training. You know, like, do you ever have the moment during the summer where you sweat so much and like you're in the middle of like doing like a really long chunk or something, and like the sweat gets in your eyes and you can't really like, because you're holding, especially for you, Josh, like you're holding this big ass piece of metal and you're like, fuck, I can't see shit. I can't. Like, I had that so many times where I was like, I can't. Like, what's the whole word? Like, I can't. Like, I can't fidget or whatever. I'm like, I can't. But I can't see shit. I can't see. Like, that's what was happening that entire time. Like, by the 4th rep, I'm like, there's so much sweat in my eyes. I can't see where I'm going.
Damn. Dude. That's a brutal summary. I don't know. I got the shit ass end of the deal on my arc spot every single time. Even like full arc, trumpet arc. I was always facing the sun. Somehow I was.
Oh, that's
like always. So
that is the worst.
I do feel that.
Oh my God. Do you remember when Ryan Springler just became caption head in the middle of Texas week one time? Like, we had been at this school for a couple of days and we just wake up and we get bussed over because we're going to rehearse at this, like in Texas, they do this weird thing where like 4 schools will all play football at the same. There's just a neutral site to play football at. So we're staying at one of the schools for this district and we get bussed over to this like neutral football field. And it's dope. We're like getting there for the morning. We're like, damn, we get stadium time, like hella stadium time. This is going to be dope. Ryan Springler is just sitting there and he's the only one there with like the other visual techs. And he's just sitting and he's like, all right, I'm bringing in. We're like, it's just Ryan.
Where's the Dalai Lama?
Where's the Dalai Lama? Holy shit.
It was just super like, okay, so Josh isn't coming back and I'm going to be here for the rest of the tour. We're going to be changing a lot today. Like, that's kind of how that conversation went, where it was just like, he's not coming back. No need to fear. I'm here. Let's change a lot today. It was just like, no, you're so right. You're so valid. Let's just change it. Like, let's just change it.
Let's just change it. Please, everything.
Scrap the whole thing.
Get a new show.
For 2017, I just remember we had so many conversations with the design team over and over again. It just felt like every time we had one of those meetings where they would sit us down, they'd be like, we're going to talk to the design team about the show and like what they're developing for the rest of the show. It just felt like they were convincing us that this is going to be okay, instead of like, here's the design for your show this year. It's like, look, I know it's crazy. It's gonna be okay. Here's the idea we have for this movement and this thing. And so it was just like finding out after that year that that show was like 4 different people's like 4 different ideas. You watched it. Like, I watched it again tonight before we started, and it's just like, what? Like,
I can't watch that show anymore.
I can't. I hadn't watched it since 2017 until tonight, because I was like, I have to watch so I can gain like some memory for it. I can talk about it. There were some parts I was like, I don't remember doing that. And I was just like, if I could get the Dwayne The Rock Johnson clip of just like, it's the biggest piece of dog shit. If I could just get that inserted right here. That's what I was saying for the entire 12 minutes. I was like, this is the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever seen like in my life. Like, I'm sorry. I know people work very hard behind the scenes to make this shit happen, but that summer, dude, I'm sorry, but that fucking sucked. I just gotta say it. So I just felt like we were set up for failure from the beginning with that show. Like, what was that perspective for you?
Again, it was as described. I was just like, man, I was expecting a really cool show. We got these really cool fucking uniforms, and instead we're just walking around on this field with a prop not on the fucking 50.
Yeah, a prop not centered on the 50, and then the final set of the show also not like centered on the 50. Like,
and they kept saying, we have a plan to bring it to the 50. It's okay. We'll figure it out.
We were like Pennsylvania, and we got a new closer drill, and they're like, this definitely isn't happening.
So I was just disappointed. I was like, I had high hopes. I had higher hopes.
Could you feel in that season just how much had changed from just 1 year prior, like in terms of vibe and culture?
Yes, everyone was so angry all the time, including me.
I feel like everyone, yeah, no, me too. Like, I feel like I just leaned on like a couple people here and there to be like, let's just get through this. We can get through this. Let's just make it through a summer. Like, what was it like in the Tubas year to year, like 2016 and 2017? What were the vibes?
In 2016, the vibes were, for the most part, we were pretty chill. There was a bit of a rift, when Baku left and we had Gibson take over.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
It wasn't like anything bad happened per se, but like
shit just happens.
The section just no longer meshed as well. Yeah.
It happens,
I still love everyone from the 2016 section to death, though, minus one individual that just made things hard.
It happens. I think
2017, things were cool for the most part. There was always this bit of tension because our section leader was like advertised as one of Tim's monkeys. There was always a bit of tension in like Tuba land because of that.
Yeah.
But we always had this fear of like anything said,
we'll get back.
Anything said will get regurgitated to Tim. So like, don't say
careful. Don't say shit.
I just didn't say anything. I was like, I'm just gonna be quiet. Like, you do not need to know my opinions on anything.
I think what's tough about that summer so much is you could feel tension between staff that trickles down to the membership.
Oh yeah,
for sure. It's just I don't even think I've talked about it on the show, surprisingly. But you're the first 17 guests to come on the show, so it's perfect time to talk about that. But you could feel the divide in staff from brass to vish to guard to percussion. It was like 16, where everybody's in their own world, and then somehow we all come together one night and we say we're the Oregon Crusaders, but this is the Oregon Crusaders brass, percussion, guard, whatever. And like, that's what felt, it was just always tension. There was so much tension, divide, so much, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with him, so you know what? And like, it would be open talks where like staff to membership, where it's like, you know what, this is happening in this land, I just want you guys to understand what's happening. We'd be like, are you sure we're supposed to like know this? Are you supposed to be telling us that? Like, that you had this argument with so-and-so like this morning about this? Like, are we supposed to know that? Moving forward, because, obviously, we're on a little time crunch here, but to wrap up 2017, what's in your head at the end of that season? Is it, do I get the fuck out of here? Or like,
yeah, dude, I mean, like,
I'll do it again.
2017 did such a number on me. Like, I did not want to march. I just did not want to march.
Just drum corps overall.
I honestly wanted to stop playing tuba also. I just wanted to be done. Like, it was just so brutal for me. And like, again, not to call out the staff or anything, but like, there was a certain staff member that I felt like was just constantly bullying me. It just took a toll on me.
Not like constructive criticism, but like personally just going at it. Like,
just like making comments that were not educational at all.
Yeah.
And I was just like, bro, like, you're just making fun of me at this point. Like, fuck you.
Like, what is even beneficial?
I just wanted to be done. Like, after 2017, I didn't play tuba for a while. I hesitantly signed up for my symphonic winds class in college. Yeah. I had all the intentions of dropping it after the first day. But I showed up and forced myself to find the love again.
Yeah.
And I had some teaching gigs that I just stuck out. I stuck through with. And
what is the thing that brings you back again? Like, what lights a fire? What brings inspiration back to come just do drum corps in general for 2018?
It was a talk that I had with Turner, the tuba tech from 17 and 18.
Shout out Turner. That dude's awesome.
He basically just hit me up in the preseason. I was like, hey, Sandy, you planning on marching? If so, where at? Yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, I was straight with him. I was like, dude, I don't want to march. The last season left a bad taste in my mouth. I just don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
And if I do, I feel like I should just chase my dream instead of going back to somewhere that might let me down.
Right. That puts you through that much like stress and like physical, mental stress, all of the things. Like, what's appeasing about that?
Yeah. So, I just told him, I was like, yeah, I don't want to march, but if I do, I'm looking at auditioning for Scouts again or Blue Stars. So, I just told him that, and he was like, all right, dude, thanks for keeping it real with me. I hope to hear from you again. I was like, cool.
Yeah. So did you end up going to audition like either of those places, or was?
I did audition for Scouts. I wish I had prepared more, but because of how I was feeling about, everything, I literally put no preparation into my audition.
Yeah.
I just showed up and did the very best I could with marching around with a concert tuba.
Oh,
Tough.
That's
probably got to be
ball.
way tougher than. I mean, I've seen people do it with like euphonium, but that's probably got to be tough, dude.
That's tough.
I did my best considering I did not practice at all, and I got a hard cut. And I was like, you know what, that's expected. I was fucking lost, confused, and fucking sad and shit.
Yeah.
And I had paid to go to the Blue Stars audition. Same thing, bro. I was just in my feelings
just
and
not feeling it.
I just wasn't feeling it. Like I put zero effort into the packet.
Yeah.
Baku did do a lot to try to help me like stay on it.
Yes. Yeah. Did you still go? Like, Jen, I'm going.
Oh, dude, I didn't go.
Oh my God.
I paid for the camp and didn't go.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Did you get your refund?
No, dude. That's how out of it I was. I was just like, I don't even care about the fact that I just gave a donation to the Blue Stars. I just can't go.
So from there, how do you find your way back to OC?
Dude, I don't know. I was just stuck in this rut and I was just so fucking sad. And like I reached out to Turner again. And I was like, hey, dude, so all of this happened. I'm really sad. I don't know. Like I don't know what to do. I don't even know why I'm telling you all this, but like nothing's working out and I'm reaching out. And then, you know, he told me that there were still a few spots that open at the line at OC, and he's sorry that I'm feeling this way and that things aren't working out, but he would be more than happy to have me back for one last round. And I was just like, dog, I really do not want to, but I will give it a shot. I will give it some deep thought. So I gave it some deep thought. I didn't go to the first full core camp. I think after seeing all the pictures posted and seeing who was there, I think after talking to some of the people that were going back, I was just like,
like, dude, Jeff, they're like, fuck.
I was like, all right, I guess we're going back.
That's exactly it, dude. It's all about Jeff.
It was
everybody went back for Jeff. Everybody went back for Jeff. Let's be real. Like
Riley, that's
I think that's when I found out you were coming back. Once I found out you were coming back, once I found out Jeff was coming back, once I found out all these other dudes were coming back, I was just like,
well, that's how I knew it was going to be a good summer. Like, when I pulled up and saw both you boys at the camp, I was like, we are going to be fine no matter what the fuck happens this summer. Like, we're going to have a good time. Like, even if we suck, like, we're going to have such a good time. Like, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, my, like, kind of, like, realization that it was going to be a really damn good time was when it was, like, before, like, the Camp Howard move-ins or whatever, and we were at, like, the Mount Hood recreational site, and it was just us three pretty much just chilling.
Yeah,
and,
like that
Zach
whole
Sullivan,
leadership.
but, like,
it was all that whole leadership training.
Retreat was awesome.
Oh, yeah,
like,
dude.
So that's when I knew. I was like, damn, this is just going to be fun regardless.
That whole experience, we talked about in Riley's episode, but just the stuff that we got to see, places we got to go. I think we were just there like 2 days early. So like nothing crazy, but it was just 2 days getting to go see this stuff and like getting to go see the lodge where they recorded the movie or shot the movie, I should say, like at least the outside of it, and just getting to go really like dive into this concept that we're about to perform all summer. And then really also as a leadership across the board, not just brass, but also percussion and guard and everybody being there, getting on the same page early in the season. And just like everybody's on the same vibe, like across the board. That's what just brings that 18 group for me, like the closest group ever, because everyone, like staff, made sure like, hey, we're going to be on the same page to start, so that it's not like, hey, you caption over there, you caption there. I think that's what made that so huge, where I was like, oh, okay, we're hitting something different here. And I remember, I don't know if you guys remember Camp Howard when we first showed up from the leadership retreat, like when we first pulled up in the van and we got there before everybody. And I think when I knew for me, it was going to be like a really special summer is when we all, like us three, like we went up the hill all the way because we were like, Riley, you got to see this. You got to see the view. You got to check this out. And like went all the way to the top of Camp Howard and just like looked out at everything. And we had talked about 17 and things that had gone wrong and like what we won in 18. And also, where the hell's Dylan Ryder?
We're like, where the hell is Dylan? He's sitting on his cabin bunk, uploading his video assignments right now.
We're texting him like, "Are you still gonna come?" And he's like, "I might."
God damn.
I want to hit on something we talked about in Riley's episode, where we were kind of like, I think we cut this segment completely from the episode, but we talked about where a situation happens when we get to tour And we've talked about, like, if you want to like hear anything about preseason 18, definitely go watch Riley's episode, because we go more in depth on preseason stuff. We go way more in depth on everything specific to Josh here. We talked about in Riley's episode where we're like, hey, we're going to save this story for Josh. Something happens early in tour. You know, we go through the beginning of West Coast tour, going through Washington, Oregon, you know, what the hell, Wyoming, all these places. And we get to Denver Regional Day. Everything's happening. We're all chilling and we're on the way to the show. Get packed up and everything. And we're on the bus ride. We're going to Mile High Stadium. We're like, yo, Denver Regional time. Like, this is hype. Like, this is going to be fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything's going solid. Do y'all want to take the story from here? Or do you want me to tell it? I think y'all should tell the story. Riley, I think you should especially tell your angle, and then Josh, you should tell yours as well. You guys.
I'll hear Josh's first, and then we can dump it.
Yeah, Josh is first.
I was just chilling on the bus as per usual on show days. I think I was taking my pre-show nap. Then I just remember going like ka-dunk, 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 and I was like, "Fuck my head!" I had just come off of a concussion.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
I had just come off.
I forgot about that.
And then like this happened, and I was like, brother, I think it's happened again.
He just looked at me. He was like, I think I'm concussed. I was like, what? So my angle on that though, so I was asleep too. Like Josh and I, we definitely had a very close bond being seat partners. That we didn't mention that, by the way. Josh and I were seat partners.
Oh yeah.
So we were seat partners. So we would very frequently like fall asleep on each other, or fall asleep next to each other, whatever. I would always fall asleep with like the back of my head against the seat in front of me. Like almost always, like just because
you were
like,
in like the aisle seat, so that's like the most comfortable thing you can do.
Yeah, well, like I'd be like watching something on my phone, I would literally just pass out in the middle of it, just because I'm exhausted. I did that often. Like I remember, like if you go and watch, like on my private YouTube, I have some videos from like 2018, like just like recordings from random shows, and like half of them they're like they flip upside down randomly, or they go like 5 minutes longer, or like something like that than the actual recording. Like it's on the pause screen for like 5 minutes because like I just fell asleep in the middle of it, or like I'll just have like a video playing on repeat on my phone. But so I would sit there with like the back of my head up against the seat in front of me. And I remember like, you know, normal taking a pre-show nap, kind of heard some stirring in the bus going on. So I'm like, okay, probably time to wake up. So I kind of like sit up and like crack my neck, kind of like sit back, stretch. And then literally within 30 seconds, boom. I was like, what the fuck? Like I could have died.
It was the hardest. It was a hard crash. And I think
we were the second
hit.
chain.
We got hit and then we hit the bus in front of us.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're fucked.
What was it? It was like guard bus hit our bus, brass bus, and then brass bus hit percussion bus, and then the percussion bus was like staff. Just behind the staff bus, like by like that much. And then we pull up to the lot. Kids are climbing out of windows and shit. But
kids are crying. Like kids are literally like bleeding, like crying. I thought we were gonna fold. I legitimately thought we were gonna fold. Like I remember I told Sarah Myers. She like kept telling me to like stop, but I was like, I think we're folding, aren't we? Like this is how our story ends, huh? Like there's no way we continue. There's no way we can fix this shit. Like we're folding. We all have to go home. And I was like, if we do, I understand. This is probably the end for us. And she's like, will you stop? Like, no one's going home.
She's like, shut the fuck up, Jeff.
I'm like, no, we're probably going home. I was so pissed. I was like, this is perfect. This is actually just what we needed.
When I realized, like, because I was kind of like, okay, what the fuck? Like I was trying to process the fact that I almost died. And then I learned that our dance soloist had like fractures in her spine.
Yes.
Like before the show, like we learned of this, like right before the show. She's like, my back's really fucked up. Like everything hurts.
Did she still do it?
Yes, she still performed that Denver regional with multiple fractures like up and down her spine. And then I remember she came back later in the season for like our like semifinals, but
I think she went home after that. Like
did.
That was because there was nothing, like she couldn't move basically like the next day.
It was that moment where I was like, okay, this shit is not going to last very long. Like, I'm like, okay, like somebody's going to go and be like, okay, why was that? We don't need to get into why the bus driver was there. We all know why, like what happened and like the reasoning why. I think we'll leave it for the adults to talk about that one. But yeah, like that whole situation, that for me sort of capped it, where I was like, whoa, that's really not good. And
Yeah.
I'm now part of this group where that happened. I didn't hear about that happening literally anywhere else. Any bus crashes, that happened in 2016 as well. The bus driver on a fucking laundry day hit a fence and like busted it out of place and then just ran. I was like, what
RIP
the
guard
fuck?
bus. RIP guard bus. Wasn't our brass bus driver in 2016? Didn't she like just wear like grass sandals the whole summer? Wasn't that her?
Something like that, yeah.
The one like every time you saw her, like the only thing she was wearing was like these sandals.
Yeah,
just like it looked like they were just like made out of like fake grass. It was
that checks out. But like 2018, we had the most lit bus driver ever.
Kyler.
Oh,
Kyler,
that's real.
Skyler,
That's real.
Skyler.
Yeah,
Skyler. That dude was so real. That dude
Yeah.
was so real. I loved
So
him
chill.
so much. He was always like, he'd get on the bus mic, like he'd be like, "Hey, I actually got to watch your guys' show tonight. You guys fucking kicked ass," like quote verbatim. Like he would talk to us like that. He's like, "You guys fucking kicked ass. I've never seen anything like that in my life." Like, super cool dude, Skyler. And then I remember he just kind of let us get away with a lot on the bus. But it was awesome.
It was crazy that he was around the same age that we were.
Yeah.
Oh, real.
Yeah.
I
think
barely
he was
remember
like,
that.
He was 21.
He was?
Really?
Damn, dude.
He
Holy
was
shit.
21 or 20.
Wow.
That's wild. I love how
insane.
Jeff barely remembers this. Like Josh,
I don't remember that.
Had a very different view of the bus, and we literally sat right across the aisle from each
I
other.
was gonna say how it went was like Dylan, me, Riley, Josh.
Yeah.
All I remember is getting off the bus. I was like, "We're folding." That's the only thing I kept thinking. You're like, and everyone else in the band, I'm like, "We're folding here tonight."
Now would be the time to introduce the Beats pill clip if you have it, but I honestly don't want that on the internet right now. So
We probably should not be on the internet.
that should not be on the internet. But that definitely, that's like
But
one of the
we know-
more shared experiences we had.
We know.
Dylan knows too. Dylan's out there and he knows. He
You
participated.
know the Beats pill. Yeah.
Turn it on, Riley.
George W. Bush. George W. Bush. And that's
George
all I
W.
gotta
Bush.
say.
I remember that. George
Listen,
W.
bro,
Bush.
shout out 2018 brass bus because George W. Bush, that's all I gotta say. And everyone on that brass bus knows what I'm talking about. But that was the best hype from all my years in marching. Like when those videos pop back up in my memories, I'm like, I want to send it to everybody. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Like it was so much fun every fucking time.
It definitely like made the days better too. Like you would like hop on the bus after like a shitty rehearsal, and then somebody just from the back of the bus goes, "George W. Bush up in that pussy, yeah!" And then
You just look at the
everybody
back
just
of the bus,
goes,
just like,
"Oh yeah," and I forgot we did it because that was like the brass bus thing too. I don't.
yeah,
think this has been
2016
talked
we
about
watched.
yet.
2016 we watched every season of Avatar, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
2017 I think they wanted to do it again, but then people were like,
Oh,
no.
dude.
And then 2018, everyone who came back was like, yeah, we need to watch Avatar again.
I remember it was like a point of contention because we were gonna watch like another show or something, and like everybody vetoed it super hard. We were all like, or at least all the loud people, we were all just like, no, we're watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, episode 1,
Start it
all the way
from the
through the last
beginning.
episode. Start it now. We'll get by the time we get to Indy, it'll be
We'll
over.
finish it. It just
But-
every episode in the credits.
2018.
Like, bro, you knew what time it was. You knew what time it was.
After, seeing all the staff tension in 2018 and after living through that summer, the highs and the lows of it, whatever, what was your reaction when you realized like postseason, all of the staff just up and left?
Because that all just kind of, it happened in one day. Like it was one day
within a day, like, yeah.
in the afternoon, first one goes out and it's like a tech or it's like a staff member or something. And it starts there. And then it goes to like caption head, all saying, I loved my time here. All my friends were here. I'm leaving. And everyone was like, wait, what? Like you check Facebook every 10 minutes and it's a new person leaving. It's another person leaving. It's another person. You're like, what is happening?
Oh, man.
Yeah. What was your reaction to that, dude?
So I would like to preface this with, I was oblivious to many of the things that happened in the 2018 season until way later.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So-
too.
yeah.
So when this was happening, I was just like, what the fuck? What?
Why are they quitting? What happened?
What happened? I was like, what do you mean this happened? What do you mean that happened? What the fuck? And, I was getting sad. I was getting scared. Like, I was like, am I going to have a place to root for after, next season? That's it. We did all this work for nothing.
My thing is just like, what happened to to like obviously we know, like things
dangerous
that
question. Dangerous territory, Jeff.
but I just want to like
know.
God, I want a staff member on here to be like, we'll talk about it a little bit because we were members, and this whole thing. By the time all of this kind of explodes and this thing goes off the tracks, like we're all at home and we're all in our own worlds and we're all back in the real world, and all of this information is just coming out and we kind of don't have anything. And it's just like, hey, by the way, if you were going to march next year, if you still have years left, you don't have a place to come back to. That's it. And like they tried to do like a whole like, oh, will we hire staff and we're going to hire this new, and like everyone was like, no, that's not how this works. Because the damage is you're too far gone to be like, so we're gonna hire new staff.
Yeah, and you just said something that kind of like caught my ear there. Like you said, it kind of felt like wasted. Like, do you feel that about like the like product that like we made, or is it more of like the like relationships we built, or like the culture that we tried to build? Like, where do you feel it was wasted?
Yeah, that's more so like, it's more about the culture. I'm like,
Okay.
One of the big things for me that I looked forward to in post AJA was like being able to like be there for the future generations. Like I very much look forward to being the guy who got the Tuba section, their section necklaces for the following years to come. And, all that ridiculous culture and hype stuff. Like,
but that's the fun part. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool part about being like alumni, being like a vet somewhere, is getting to go back to your home and like.
That's what I was looking forward to, and like now that
Just quick question to follow up from that is like, they tried, and this organization in general has died and come back, I think 3 times.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever going to be another one? You think they'll bring it back?
I mean, the thing with how I feel about that is it contradicts with how I feel about the drum corps activity in general.
Aha! And that is a great segue to how do you feel about the activity now, the state of activity today, and like kind of like how did your thoughts about the activity like change when you left it?
So I will preface this with I have not seen a drum corps show since
2019.
2019. Right? 2019.
You at least saw like us at the
when you guys came out.
Well, I forgot what show that was, but you saw us at that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen a drum corps show or any type of drum corps media since 2019. I don't really know what the member perspective is anymore, but back when I marched, it was like $3,000 to $4,000 to march. Now it's like $6,000-7,000, and
easily hitting 6 for most people. Like 5 is a normal thing I'm hearing now. Is like 5 is a normal.
I recently took a personal financial management class in college. One thing that class helped me understand is that prices are going to keep going up for our entire lives. And if that is true, that means drum corps has to keep going up in cost. It has to. There's no choice.
Everything else
has to keep going up in cost. And I don't think the people that they're trying to get to march can do it. The rising costs.
And I think that's why we've seen so many people, like I just saw like in the drum corps Reddit, like someone put up like a little thread being like, do I still audition for DCI even though I'm like way too poor to do it? And it's so sad even seeing that. And like, because that kid probably just wants to go like, I just want to do band and this looks really fun and I wish I could do it. But like, should I still even try to even think about doing it? Because like I'm way too poor to even put that money forward. I don't know. Like I see like comments, like a lot of people put this stuff in Twitter threads, and I think that's why I like wanted to start this thing so that people can have a platform to like talk about. Like I see people talking about like I sold so much plasma just so I could like march a season. And like I sold, like I, gave blood so that I could march for a season. And like Austin talked about in the last, was like I picked up so many shifts just to like come up with enough money to make it. And then even still, he was like, I was 3 shifts away from having the money, and I was so close, and I just didn't, and so I couldn't. And it's just like, like I don't know how this thing. We had these conversations starting in 2018.
Yeah, like immediately postseason.
Specifically, our little like pod of like who we all sat next to. Me, you guys, Dylan. We all kind of talked about like COVID hadn't happened yet, but we were like, the way this thing is set up, if anything ever happens to where this activity is like gone for a year, this thing's gonna plummet and it's gonna die. Like if anything happens, like in the way this whole activity set up, like the whole thing is just gonna like plummet.
DCI does have a new CEO. We were talking about it, the CEO of band.
CEO band.
We got a new CEO of band, and I would love to hear like his perspective on putting like caps on things. Like, you can't charge $8,000 to a 14-year-old to come march your show for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, I think that it's about finding the balance of like what production level you want versus how much it's actually going to cost. Example, OC props, at least 2016 props, were literal logs of wood and branches and like wheels. They were like office chair type shits, and then they change out the fucking wheels for them. Those props were like very minimal cost, and like it was still an effective show in my opinion. And because I still get people coming up to me about 2016 like, oh, you marched the tree show. It's not what it's called, but thank you. Like,
that's sick though. That's pretty sick that they can remember that.
Yeah, like if I'm out, like I still have like my OC jacket, so when it's cold I wear it out over my regular coat, and it's like people ask me about it when I'm out and about. So it's like, it's one of those things about like finding the production quality in my mind, because that's really where it goes. But it's also booking venues, finding places for kids to sleep during the day, people that'll house you for a month to month and a half while you rehearse really fucking loud until dark. Like, and that's, I think, in my opinion, why this activity has such a short fuse left on it, at least for the majority of smaller cores.
What was your favorite part about the activity? What did it mean to you?
My favorite part of the activity, I guess, it's just being fucking loud. Yeah.
Like do you miss any parts of it now?
I mean, I'm at a point in my life where I play and teach for a living.
Yeah.
In about an hour, I'll have my opportunity to go play loud as fuck and even get paid for it. So, like, I ain't doing too bad in that regard.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely. Man, I really wish we could have jumped into that a little bit more on that conversation. We had such a good thing going with the whole, like, is this thing going to survive? But I think there are some good episodes for that.
It's a good cliffhanger moment.
Coming soon. If I could ask two more questions here. One, quick hit, rank your years. We used to ask this on like Meet the Bus, actually, like at Oregon. Like it used to be a question to vets where it was like, go ahead and like rank your years.
2018 first, 2016, 2016 second.
Yep, and 2017 last, and that's just, it just makes sense.
Doesn't even want to.
No, you didn't even list it, and I love it. Just 2018, 2016, and that's about it. So, last question here, Josh. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming on and doing this. This episode's been in the works for like a month and a half. I love getting the boys together and just having time to just chat.
I'm just happy to be here for you, man.
Love it, dude. What has this activity meant to you? Like in terms of how it's built you up as you've grown up as an adult in this world? What is something you've taken away from it?
I guess drum corps really taught me the importance of the people around you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that, honestly, on that, I think that's just like, that's all you got to say about it. It's just the importance of the people around you. That's it. We're keeping it at that. We're keeping it at that because we're already on a time crunch, and Josh has got to go be great and got to go play a gig and go, kill it out there. So we're going to end it here. This was a shorter episode this week, but honestly, I've heard from so many people that they're like, oh my God, why do they have to all be like 2.5 hours? So hopefully this week you guys are like, oh my God, like an hour? Let's fucking go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. This was episode 7 with Josh and Riley. If you haven't gone and seen Riley's episode, please go check that out. It was a great episode. We go in depth on a lot of things, 2016, 2018. And as always, like, subscribe, share the podcast, comment down below. What was your favorite part of the episode? Thank you guys so much for coming on. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
We gotta have you guys on again, or I just gotta come back out there. It's been a couple years, so I gotta come back out there. I miss you boys.
We'll make something happen.
So this has been episode 7 of the Meet the Bus podcast, and we will see you next week.
Back of the bus rules.